Now, you really got to believe this on the up and up, that you don't particularly want to, I say, lean to your own understanding, because you have a reprobate mind, a strong delusional per se. You can have a strong delusion thinking that something is all right. Just like on as I was watching the clip on the YouTube or from the other News Now, there was on the News Now on Facebook, but on News Now from Nigeria, they pretty much had the old buddy, he was out there, and they talk about, being conscious minded, man. That's like unconsciousness, dude. If somebody saw that, like, dude, you don't do that with a cow. Come on, man. You lost a natural use. And we don't really say what it is nowadays. We do all that smoke screen stuff. And now, nowadays you gotta see stuff for what it is, not just what people tell you. You have to take it for what it is, because some people just want dominion and power and just want to collect you alongside everybody else and do the same thing that they said other people was doing. So you gotta be aware of your surroundings, and you gotta know the ins and outs of what it is that you're going through, and don't give nobody no position but the true Almighty God to give you inspiration and stuff like that, because other folks have you lean into your own understanding, man, and that's something you don't want to transpire nowadays. You really got that going on, that mindset, that thought process. People think like that. And so I decided that, it's not worth all that world trumpet stuff. I don't care what is the theme for the day, negativity. I'd rather stay in a positive mindset and an outlet to let the blessings of God overtake me, instead of letting the affairs of this world overtake me and choke out the word of God that's on the inside. That's like a spiritual Charleston chokehold on everything that you're going through. So I believe now God is going to bring wholeness for everybody that's going through a disability, mental illness situation. We got that in the hood, whether we know it or not. It's an issue that we don't really want people to chop it up on. But it used to be a day that you used to write on paper and used to draw on paper, what it was that was on your heart. But then when you get in that place where, I'm glad that I ain't under my mom and dad roof and they ain't going to tell me nothing. I'm old enough to make my decisions. So I'm just going to write on me instead, and not really acknowledge that that's a real issue. But the fact of the matter is, if we really review it, it is an issue. It's an issue that we need to chop it on. Did we really think, why are we even doing it? Why is everybody doing what it is? What inspired you to do it? You know what I'm saying? What inspired you? If every change from that, you can't stay like that. Some people stay in that type of mannerism and continue to indulge and promote those that do the same thing. Now, granted, if you're not as strong as the next person spiritually, that's okay. I don't expect a weak-minded person to pray for me, because that's not what you indulge yourself in. You might not do that because that's not the culture that you trust in, but you trust in foolishness, and foolishness doesn't provide nothing for you. It doesn't get you out. So you lean to your own understanding. So I don't expect for you to actually lift me up in prayer, because you haven't got to that maturity level, to really be able to do that sincerity, to say, if there be any fault in my heart, that takes a mature person, to be able to do that, to say, what, if I got any fault in my heart against a person, then I'm going to forgive them for they know not what they do, or more. I'm going to bypass that particular situation, and I'm going to try to go over and try to find a peace with that particular situation, regardless to how it may look to the next person. I'm going to find peace with it, even though they might not be 100 on why a particular situation took place. They might hold themselves guiltless, and some words that they could say 9 times out of 10 for a person to respond back with words or action. Somebody said something, from the beginning. If a person says something, then 9 times out of 10 people don't just they respond, because those words are as powerful, hit you hard, so people try to swing back with, some type of force nowadays, because words, when they come across, they not just play, stuff. It's actually, it can do something. So if you call somebody out their name and you keep hitting them with them words is powerful, more powerful than a missile going through your heart. Them words hit you, and you ain't even see them spelled out particularly, but they do some type of damage to you. One word after another word after another word. If they keep hitting you, then you feel like you've been slain left and right. Every powerful word that has been spoken has destroyed you at some particular point. And that's what I had to learn through time past, that some things that people say, you just think like, oh, they just words. I'm gonna just, words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But that's like saying a person go through a car wreck or something that didn't hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta continue to go forward. You're gonna experience some damage, and sometimes words, are more powerful than, missiles at times. It takes so much of that until it may build something and trumpets the pass on by. And I'm not gonna let that affect me to the point where I'm gonna retaliate as ignorant as you are. Maturity doesn't actually have to happen per se at a certain age in life. You can be mature at a young age. You see what I'm saying? According to the things of God, you can really be mature. You don't have to be dumb and stupid like everybody else wants you to particularly be. They play you like play school if you allow them to, but you got to know the difference in what it is that people have done, and you got to have some type of common sense, even if you're not the best according to world standards and everything like that. One thing you don't put yourself in is in a position to just be utilized, and people be like, well, I don't know what I said, and mature people will go back over and be like, you know what, the other day I came to you and I snapped off at you, and I'm sorry that I wasn't in a particular mindset. See, some folks never reach that mind to even consider that, but they always see something was done to them and not particularly them being hurt at the same time, to be able to go back over and say, you know what, I wasn't in the right standing at that moment. I should have did that a little bit better. I was just currently going through something, so I don't know what you were going through, and I don't know if that caused any damage to you. So if you replied back in a way that you had to defend yourself, I know why now, because something was said that triggered your reaction. And that's what happens to people nowadays. They experience reaction to what people are saying. You can take a whole bunch of stuff from people. But one thing you don't do is just, allow people to just run over on anything. Nowadays, it's just running rapid. People just do anything, any type of way, and then think, oh, you can't hold me accountable because little daddy doing what daddy, was trying to get across to you. And that's what happens in time. Because somebody has to show you that, hey, I love you enough to not see you go in error. Sometimes we get a certain age and then we get to the point that nobody can never reach us. Nobody can ever tell us nothing. We got it all figured out and everything like that. I got it all figured out. I know the way. I got it all. I know the God. I know every plan. I know the eyes. I know the back of it. I've been everywhere in the universe, and I've been here, there, and the other. And sometimes people haven't been there, and it's hard to break that, because they make themselves out to be something because of the hurt and the pain, that they didn't really have the sense of direction and love, to break the stronghold. And that's what happens, and that's what people are going through today on all manners of levels. They're going through these hurts. And this is what people really need to communicate about. They need to be able to come real to folks and say, look, I'm dealing with this, that, and the other. I'm dealing with this issue. I am, you could be a person that can be prideful, particularly, dealing with some stuff that you never had nobody to take the time out to really comfort you on, on the up and up. So then you're mutilized by ignorance, to continue to compel others and applaud others that do the same thing. So that's what you're familiar with, and that's what you surround yourself with, and you feel comfortable in a setting of people that were kind of similar or can identify with that particular lifestyle. And when you find yourself doing that, instead of getting the help that you need to be better, to be able to help them, see that you can't help them when you still need help. There's nothing they can do to help you, particularly. They're not going to pray for you. So there's nothing they can do to help you. So there's no need for you to keep company with people who can't uplift you and going to pray for you, to give you. And so people go on in life and that mannerism, never being forgiven, never walking into a place of forgiveness. But I tell you, this day, man, you really gotta trust in God in all of this. I know people just lean into their wayside on all kind of particular issues, but one of the things I want to get across to the audience, even on a replay live version, I just do ear understanding. They don't really need the drugs. They don't really need nothing else. They just really need somebody just to listen to them and continue with that and forever, not to particularly agitate or trigger per se that particular issue that they're going through. So I tell you this as the leader of the C.J.C. Hood News movement, that you really want to consider your ways. You really want to consider your ways, and really be in a place of prayer. If you never truly been in that place, it's one thing to do that like never before, man, because we open to so many other things, and you might not want to gain that, but that's where the place of maturity is. That don't mean that you're trying to be a preacher, a teacher, a prophet, an evangelist, apostle, archbishop, or anybody. That just mean you want to be one with God, connected with God, and not that you want to go to the place. Some people won't get to that place like Enoch was, but I say it like this, that you really just want to consider, though, letting someone know that you're going through that particular issue or dilemma. I mean, even letting them know by text or voicemail, even though they not considered, some people are not even ready to receive all of that. They not lead you to forgiving them for they know not what they do. But sometimes God can allow that to happen where there's no touching or nothing, where you just squash it because it was a word and you was like, hey, that ain't really that weapon that you use in your mouth to form against me didn't prosper.